Today on Here for the Right Reasons, Clayton Echard talks to us about his early connections.
When I spoke with her later that night, it felt like it was a conversation I was having with someone that I had known for, or was dating for a few months. It didn't feel like a first night kind of conversation.
And not one, but two villains emerge. Plus, Clayton is ready to take back a rose.
What's he gonna do? I have a rose.
We've got that plus so much more on today's Here for the Right Reasons. Hey guys, Christina Garibaldi here with Us Weekly senior editor Sarah Heron. Sarah, welcome to another week of Here for the Right Reasons and Bachelor week number 2. What did you think?
Week 2, and these girls are bringing it. They know the assignment, and they are not holding back with their connections, with their drama. Like, wow.
It was a jam-packed episode. Like nothing, like there was no lag time. It was straight start to finish, a lot of drama, a lot of things happened. But before we break it all down, I know you caught up with Clayton again last week, right?
That's right. Clayton and I, we connected one more time, and I asked him a little bit more specific questions, obviously, since we had seen the premiere after this chat, and we talked about some of his early connections. So here's what he had to say about the women who were standing out to him after night 1.
What stood out to you with Teddy? Why'd she get your first impression, Rose?
Well, for once, right when she steps out, incredibly beautiful. I loved her, her curls. She just, the way she carried herself, she was so sweet. I think, again, like I felt very much relaxed around her. I was so nervous night 1. That's why I was spilling drinks. That's why I just laugh when I get nervous because I'm like, it's the easiest way to kind of just feel that I'm more, I guess I'm trying to convince myself you're more relaxed than what you think you are. But when I spoke with her later that night, it felt like it was a conversation I was having with someone that I had known for, or was dating for a few months. It didn't feel like a first night kind of conversation. So I really liked her a lot, and everything that I saw, and it made it really very easy to give her the first impression of us.
Susie stood out to a lot of fans, and to me, pretty popular online. What about Susie has stood out to you, or can you tease to me about your connection with her?
Yeah, Susie was very fun coming out the limo. She, again, I like somebody that has a sense of humor, and she comes out and kind of, a little corny with the buzzer on her hand, but I like when I see someone that's able to do that and then be confident about it, because you got to think, like, coming out that limo, cameras are all around you, and you can still maintain that poise and that confidence. That says a lot about somebody. So for me, I was very impressed by her, and she's very bubbly. And so I liked it. And I felt that, again, I think people see that as well. And yeah, she's a fun person that we had, around.
Rachel got some love also from you. We had a lot of kissing, Clayton, and no shade. That's a good thing. What about Rachel? Were you drawn to?
Oh man. For one, I mean, absolutely incredible. Like, I love the fact that she's so driven. I mean, to be a pilot in training, it was so unique. And I could tell as we talked that first night, she's so passionate about her occupation. And she was someone who, again, like, was very intentional and very much just like, I could tell right away that she was another calming presence, somebody that when I spoke with her, the conversation wasn't forced. It was very natural. And yeah, I mean, that was one of those conversations night 1 where I walked out of there along with other conversations I had. And I was like, I'm already feeling good about these people, girls early on. Like, where could we be, at the end of all of it? I mean, this is great to see night 1.
Gabby was a personal favorite of mine. I don't know if you saw, maybe she has a past with Blake and Dean, knows them. Does that come up at all? And can you tell me a little bit about Gabby?
I didn't know all that until after the fact, but it doesn't make a difference to me. I mean, whether or not people know people, right? This is where you get the whole, like, oh, it's a small world. So for her to know those guys, it doesn't mean anything to me. But again, comes out the limo and she's got the pillow and she makes that joke. And I'm like, are they going to be able to air this? Like, is that, I don't even know how to respond to it. That's why I just laughed nervously, because I was like, I don't know what to say to this. My mom watched this. My grandma watches this. But sense of humor is like right up there with like one of the top things I look for. And for that to be the first thing that she did it, but she did it with confidence, very bold. And I think as people saw in her intro package, like, she's goofy. And she's someone to keep an eye on, because she's a lot of fun.
Yeah, unfortunately, we didn't see too many of these ladies this week because it was so much with the drama with Cassidy, with Shanae, with Elizabeth, and all this stuff. But I have to agree. I think, Gabby really stood out the first episode. Teddy, of course, with the first impression rose. So it seems like these are definitely the front runners going into these next couple weeks.
Yeah, I think it's a good sign we didn't see a lot of these girls because there was so much going on. And I think, we were 22 people. We didn't see anyone go home because of the cliffhanger that we have to wait 2 weeks for. I mean, what? So rude. But yeah, I think that these are going to be girls to watch. So as for Ed, keep your eye on Susie, Rachel, Teddy, Gabby. I think there's a lot of different connections forming, but a lot of drama too.
A lot of drama. So let's get right into it. What was your Bachelor buzzword? What kind of summed up last night's episode for you?
I was going to do ADHD, but I decided to do two-faced instead. Because I just don't know if Shanae even knows what that means, because not looking at someone in the eye does not make you two-faced, but okay.
Yes, totally agree with you. Mine was red flags because they were popping up all over the place during this episode. They discussed red flags. We saw a lot of red flags, especially with Shanae and with Cassidy. Unfortunately, Clayton is blind to them and didn't see them at all. So questioning some of his decisions so far. Yeah,
he seems to be a producer's dream. And I think that was, the more I think about it, it just makes so much sense. Like, Clayton is so happy to be the Bachelor and it's all over his face and it's endearing in some ways, but you also have to remember that means like he is gonna fall for a lot of stuff. And I think we're gonna see that based on the trailers and everything and this episode. And some of these girls also just do not care. Like, they're treating this like it's Survivor, like it's a game. If you listen to Us Weekly's Here for the Reasons podcast last week, I talked to Game of Roses, who do treat the show like a sport and a game and have it all outlined. And some of these girls are going with that direction. So it's like going to be hard to find the love connections when we're playing in two different games here.
I totally agree with you. It's crazy. It really is. But like you said, producer's dream and a viewer's dream as well.
All right. Well, before we get into all the drama, let's talk about shipping. Who are you shipping with Clayton after week 2?
Well, we finally got our first one-on-one date, and he went out with Susie. Seemed like they had a really nice connection, jumping off of boats, taking this private helicopter. I mean, who wouldn't fall in love in a date like that? And, of course, they capped it out with those, the serenade from the singer, that's always like perfect bachelor date. But yeah, I like them and they seem to have a good connection. I feel like she's going to go far.
I like Susie too. I think that what she did that I really like, first of all, she had that Hannah Brown, like, wide open grin when she got her name was called. So it's like the comparison continued, but also when she spoke about him afterwards, she said, I like him, which was like, oh, how refreshing. You're not already in love with him. That's kind of real to me, that she seems like a normal girl who's like, yeah, like, obviously this process is quick and I could see myself on. Also said, quote, I like him, which we don't hear enough on the show. We just hear, I'm in love, he's going to be my husband. And I felt like that's a good sign from Susie.
I totally agree with you. I didn't pick up on that, but that's a really like a good point because like you said, yeah, after dates, they're just like, we're in love. We're going to get married. We're going to have a ton of babies. It's like, no, that doesn't work like that. Like, you go out on a date and you're like, oh yeah, maybe I do like this person. So, so it seems like that's a very good point. What about you? Who were you shipping this week?
I went with Sarah, who got the group date rose, not just because we have the same name, but I thought that she was just like super sweet and seemed excited, and Clayton seemed into her. And it was just a little bit mystery still, like, she's not laying it all out on the line yet, but they clearly have a connection. And I thought that she was a good choice for the group date rose. She won the competition, but also like wasn't super obnoxious about it. Like, it was, she seems like a solid girl, seems like Clayton's type. So I gave it to Sarah this week.
I like it. That was a good choice. All right. The show is all about a good one-liner. So who did your line of the night go to?
I mean, we haven't even talked about Hilary Duff yet because so much happened in this episode, including like several guest appearances by celebrities. Obviously, Hilary Duff being the biggest name that this show has had in a while, and certainly on this episode. But I loved that she was reading Cassidy and said, quote, she has her eye on the prize, not going to make any friends here, but I'm not sure she cares. Like, Lizzie McGuire, full on reading the room. And the best part is, like, Cassidy was such a fan, and she just totally was like, this girl's nuts, and I loved it.
I love that too. Mine was going to be like Cassidy saying that, oh my God, you were the first concert I ever went to. I had a face and, your face on the sign. I thought that was funny. But then as the episode started going on, I'm like, oh my God, Cassidy's a monster. So mine went to Cassidy. And when a producer asked her, how does it smell when she was smelling the rose? And she said, like victory. So I definitely got some Corinne vibes from her.
It was like classic OG Bachelor villain stuff. Mm-hmm. Like it's been a minute since, I think maybe because we've been watching The Bachelorette and it's not quite as juicy when it's a guy villain. I think that was like Courtney Robertson. That was good stuff. She seems awful, but also great television.
I know. I'm actually hoping that she doesn't leave us just yet because I feel like we're getting some good material from her so far.
Yeah, let's move into Thirst because I think we have the same one and it involves Cassidy. What was the thirstiest part for you of the Cassidy Shanae drama?
I mean, Cassidy just like pretending that this was like her one-on-one date, like bringing him over to the pool, making out with him, like while these girls are just putting together this kid's birthday party, like doing manual labor. And she's just, I'm not here to put up streamers. I'm here to like make out with this guy. So
I love that line.
Yeah. So she was definitely, that was definitely a thirsty moment for me. What about you?
I think for me, it was just like the two of them as a duo and like Shanae blindly following Cassidy's advice because she got one rose. She was like taking everything she was saying like it was Bible, like it was fact. And she went into that date. She saw Elizabeth sitting next to Clayton. And so she decided Elizabeth was the enemy. I must destroy. And she was like, Cassidy would have sat next to him. I should have done that. Like it was really pathetic to watch Shanae just like try to be Cassidy because she got a rose. Like it was thirsty. It was weird. And like, I know this girl's from a very small town in Ohio. So maybe I don't know. This is out of her comfort zone. So she like grasped onto Cassidy thinking it would work, but it just came off so like not genuine, not here for the right reasons. And she's the one telling people, trying to say other people aren't there when she's literally strategizing. Right. So it was, thirst.
It is weird that like we haven't really seen like two villains kind of come together and, kind of, I feel like they're just going to tear each other down, but we never really see them kind of join forces. So that's definitely like a good point. They're like kind of feeding off each other, but eventually probably they'll turn on each other as well.
But was also funny, because even at the end of the episode, before it shifted back to Cassidy, when they were kind of wrapping up the Shanae drama with Elizabeth, Cassidy was the first one to be like, oh, I got to leave her. Like, sorry, girl, we were bonding, but I don't have your back. And I was like, oh my God, you're the reason she did this. And then of course, like jokes on Cassidy because it ends up being brought back to her anyway. But it was just like, I couldn't believe that she wouldn't even stick by her fellow villain.
I know. She's like, gotta go. Bye. See you later. You're on your own on this one. But let's kind of talk about our cringeworthy moments of the night and kind of continue with that, because I mean, that Shanae and Elizabeth ADHD conversation, like you could not get more cringeworthy than that. That was terrible.
Like I'm of the mind that Shanae decided she didn't like Elizabeth because she sat next to Clayton on that date, and it became like she was the enemy. So then she had to scramble and come up with something after she told Clayton that she was two-faced and, there for the wrong reasons. So she came up with like, you weren't making eye contact with me when we were having a conversation. And then Elizabeth came back with ADHD. And then they like pretended to hug. Like the whole thing was just, I couldn't really follow, but I think it's because there's nothing actually there. Like it was just BS on like all sides. Not saying that Elizabeth doesn't have ADHD, but just like none of these things really have to do with anything. Like I think Shanae just made this all up. I
think so too. And then when they were continuing the conversation later and Shanae's like, well, I have ADHD too. You like it was just like, what are you? And I know that she was just doing that to like mock Elizabeth, but like just to kind of throw it back in her face. It was just like so uncomfortable. And especially like, bringing mental health into it. Like you don't mock somebody about that. Like she was trying to be like, maybe she was trying to be vulnerable and telling her about why maybe she wasn't paying attention to her. And she just kind of threw it back in her face. It was just a really uncomfortable situation. And I feel like Shanae is going to have to go home.
Yeah, she's a mess. Shanae and her Shanae were just not it.
That was also a cringeworthy moment, watching her do the whipping Nene. It was just all wrong.
I was going to put that as my cringe, but I wanted to briefly touch on Teddy because I like Teddy just fine, but I felt a little cringe when she was like talking to Clayton about how she's already emotional seeing him with other girls and like, do you still like me kind of thing? And it was just like, oh girl, like you got the first impression rose, take that with confidence. Don't then go with the like pity me date. Like, I can't see you with other girls already. Like, I didn't like the way she played that. I think she could have been like a little more confident in the first impression rose versus like needing validation again already. Like, you got the ultimate validation after 2 minutes.
Right. Yes. Yes. Seriously. Like, have a little bit more confidence, like go into it. It's like, head held high, like you got this, girl. But yes, no, it's like, you don't want to see that after week 2, but I guess it does. It kind of probably messes with your head so much, like seeing him like have these one-on-one conversations with all these girls, kissing all these other girls. I can't imagine what that, like a mind F that must be.
It's true. I know, quick to judge. I just was just like, Teddy, like you got that. Like, it's okay. Like, I don't know. I felt like she could have been a little like more confident in her conversation with him, but he ate it up and they made out. So joke's on me, I guess.
Right.
What about who are you giving your rose to?
Mine went to who you shipped earlier, to Sarah. I really liked her. Like you said, she was, she won the group date, but wasn't like too in your face about it. And it seemed like they had a really good connection. She just seems like a nice girl. Hopefully she doesn't get swept up in all this drama, but I liked her. And I feel like she's going to go the distance as well.
I give mine to Liza, who was like at the way end of the episode, just because I thought it was cute to see someone like not overreact when they didn't get a date. Like, it's hard. I mean, it's week 2. You met the guy for like 2 seconds. You're not on either group date or the one-on-one date. Like, that must be hard. Yes. So I like that she like impressed him during the cocktail party, did the little memory book thing. I thought that was cute, and she seems nice. I
liked her too. I like that she did something to kind of stand out, even though she had no time during the week. So I feel like he appreciated that as well. So good job, producers, for doing that. Yes, who do you want to see going packing?
Well, on that note, I mean, there's the obvious, which we'll get to, but Jill was the girl who brought the ashes in the first episode. Just spiraling that quick 30 seconds where she wasn't on either group date card and then crying. You gotta go if you're not gonna be able to handle it like this. Like, she did the same thing night 1. I feel like she was the last one to get a rose, and she was like, her whole self-esteem was shot already. Mm-hmm. And then now she's crying because she didn't get the group date. She didn't get a group date. And then she kind of, I guess, tried to bond with him at the cocktail party. There was like a quick, maybe she did well. But I just don't like her. I don't see the longevity, and Jill's gotta go.
Sorry, Jill. Gotta go. Take your tears and your ashes and move on out.
I mean, what about you? These are 2 that I can agree with, but.
I mean, Shanae and Cassidy both have to go, but it seems like Cassidy now all of a sudden has this guy at home too, and that she has like a friends with benefits thing kind of going on. And then, it's brought to Clayton's attention. So it seems like he wants to take back the rose with Cassidy, but I hope somebody also brings to his attention what a terrible person Shanae is as well.
Shanae. I wonder if this Cassidy thing, it's like it was kind of like Brendan and Piper vibes. Like, did they know they were being filmed? Did they think it wouldn't air because it's like breaking the rules with the FaceTime? Is this girl just naive? Does she not care? I'm like, in what world are you admitting this on camera?
Right. No, it's like maybe she thought like maybe if Clayton's not around, something like you said, like maybe cameras aren't rolling all the time, but know your surroundings, know where you are. Yeah.
I mean, I can't wait to find out more about that, because that whole thing was so confusing to me. Like, wherever you had a FaceTime in the hotel anyway, like these producers, are they doing it on purpose? Like letting them slip things in now versus like being strict about what they took away to create drama? I don't know, but I thought they got their phones taken away like immediately when they started their like couple-day quarantine before they go into the house.
I thought so too, but like, didn't Sally have her phone last
Sally had a phone too.
So it's like maybe they knew something was going on with these people before they had them come on board, because the producers are doing their investigative journalist work because they're like really digging deep into all these stories. But makes for good TV for us.
Please speak out. Please reach out. I'd love to know more.
We would love to have you on. So please reach out to us. But yes, week 2. And I you kind of said off the top, this is going to be a good season.
I'm pretty confident in the fact that we're going to have a lot to talk about. If there's already 2 villains and we might be getting rid of one when come back, like that means a lot more is going to have to happen to keep it interesting. We'll see. I hope he does take the rose back, just because I love a historic moment.
I do too, definitely. Well, Sarah, who's on this week's episode of the podcast?
Bibiana from Ari's season. She's been on the podcast before. She's always great chat to recap the episode. And then I guess we'll be back in 2 weeks. I don't know. There'll be enough to talk about next week. I'm not sure.
I know. This was a surprise that we were not having the Bachelor next week, but that just gives us a lot to talk about in the next couple of weeks. So definitely going to be here for it. Definitely ready for it. And we're going to be recapping it every single week on Us Weekly's YouTube channel. Make sure to listen to Sarah's podcast here for the right reasons. And we will see you guys Maybe next week, maybe in 2 weeks, or definitely in 2 weeks.
Definitely in 2 weeks.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.